Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Madilyn Kolb Podcast. This is episode 4. Can't believe it's already been 4 episodes. And this is week 3 in a row of me recording this. I don't have any notes today. I just want to kind of talk about what comes to mind. But I want to talk about living in alignment with your authentic self and truly being true to you. Truly being true. Acting true to yourself. I look back on my life and I see the very young version of me very much acting in alignment with herself. And then over the years, as I got older, that kind of strayed away and I started trying to impress others around me or fabricating myself to show up in a way that I thought other people wanted me to show up, and my energy in the world being for other people constantly. And only in recent years have I come back to living in a path that I feel is aligned with me. Excuse me. So I want to talk about that process and why I think that might happen. Because I feel like it's a very common thing. Obviously, when you are a child, a very young child, you have childlike tendencies. You do things that make you happy just because they make you happy. You are the most connected to your inner spirit when you are a child. And somewhere along the way, as we make new friends, we go through school, we have all these new people in our lives, we start seeing the adults around us kind of acting a certain way. And when you act a certain way, that might make some people uncomfortable, so we start fabricating ourselves to show up in the world as a certain way that we kind of make up in our heads. I mean, as you move through the world as a young kid and people start making comments about you, good or bad, you kind of start to alter yourself to make people have a certain impression of you or a certain idea of you. And it starts to knock us off the path of showing up in the world aligned with our authentic selves, with who we truly are inside. And it was a big breakthrough for me when I had this download of this visualization of my younger self kind of trapped in a cage inside of me, and I didn't let her grow up with me. So allowing that childlike self to come out and me allowing her to finally start growing up with me and taking her along my life and my path alongside me has made me so much happier, so much more fulfilled. Somewhere along the way, we start trying to show up in the world for the people that we respect, how we think that they expect us to show up as. I remember when I was really young, my teacher told me about cosmetology school. I didn't know what that was. And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do that. And I told my mom about it, and she was like, no, you're gonna go to college. And I still ended up going to cosmetology school. My parents very much supported me through it. However, from that point on, subconsciously, the people that I respected around me, their definition of success for me was college, was a certain path that I felt that I was expected to take. I felt that that would impress the people that I respected. But that definition of success wasn't mine. And this is one tiny example, because there are so many influential people in our lives from when we are young to as we grow up. There are so many influential people in our lives that project their definition of success onto us. And we take that and we hold it. And in this day and age, there's so much noise in the world. You can see what everybody is doing at once if you just go on Instagram. And how all of these other people are living their lives. You lose the ability to sit with yourself and to ask yourself what you truly think you are meant for and how you show up in the world as yourself. And I talk so much about the process of growing up because when we are young, we are the most connected to our inner spirit. Our childlike selves, we don't have all of that noise. I was listening to a podcast one time, and the guy was talking about how in his sport, he doesn't remember making a mistake until like 8 to 12 years old. And it's not because he was the most perfect at his sport before then. It was because he didn't even know what a mistake was. He was just out there to have fun. When we're young, our goal in life is to have fun, but along the way, we lose that. So learning to tap into that childlike self is so important. Being able to think back to what lights you up, not even what did light you up at the time, because maybe making mud pies on the weekends isn't what you're going to do as an adult. But really asking ourselves, what do we want to do? What is our definition of success? What makes me fulfilled? Because nothing outside of us can fulfill us. When you're a kid and these adults start projecting onto you what's going to make you the most money, what's going to make you the most successful, you think, okay, when this happens to me, I'll be happy. When I make this much money, when I get this much materialistic things, then I will be successful. But if you have that mindset that something outside of you is going to make you happy, you're always going to strive for more and you're never going to be happy with what you have. True fulfillment, true happiness comes from being content with wherever you are right now. And that's really difficult to grasp at first, but when you truly acknowledge and realize that you have to be content with where you are right now to get to wherever you're going and enjoy the journey. It's all about enjoying the journey. You become so much more happy, and those things that you once thought would make you happy could never amount to the fulfillment you get from within. When you start living in alignment with your authentic self and start showing up in the world how you would want to, when you have that shift, when you realize, oh, shoot, I'm living life for somebody else right now, I need to flip that switch. I need to start turning inward and asking myself what I want. It might make the people around you in your inner circle uncomfortable because you truly are the 5 people you surround yourself with, or I guess the 5 closest people to you. You are your environment. You are who you surround yourself with. That rebounding of energy reflects back onto you. It creates the person who you are. It creates how you show up. It creates how your brain works. Your brain is changing every single day. The information that you feed it, the conversations you're having with people, the mindset you have around those is being downloaded into your brain constantly. When you decide that you want to live for yourself, want to do what makes you happy, you figure out what your definition of success is and you start living in alignment with that, it's probably going to make the people around you uncomfortable. And that is okay. Not everybody is meant to walk your path and your timeline. Everybody is on their own path. I remember at one point in my life, I realized that you are the 5 closest people to you. You are the people you surround yourself with. So I sat and I thought, who are the closest people to me right now? And I thought to myself, I don't want to be like them. So I started listening to podcasts. I started manufacturing my environment in a way to be the kind of person that I wanted to act in alignment with. I got really clear on who I wanted to be and started moving toward that goal. And my circle completely faded, completely changed. And you hear a lot of successful people, I say successful as in like worldly success, big names that you might think of. They talk about the lonely chapter. And the lonely chapter is so real and so formative. You learn so much about yourself with being the only person around you. When you're alone, when you're lonely, the only person you have to comfort you, the only person you have to turn to is yourself. You get really good at knowing yourself and learn your reactions and your own opinions and what resonates with you. You close the barrier of what do I think of me and what do these other people think of me? Because you're the only person around. Or I guess the only person influencing your thoughts and actions. Being lonely can be one of the best things for you. And it sucks. It sucks really bad when you're in the thick of it and you are just so lonely. All you want is a community. All you want is to have people around, have people to turn to that understand you. So it forces you to learn to understand you. I think a lot of times, and with a lot of people that I talk to, they're like, what will these people think of me? What do other people think of me? And the question they don't ask themselves is, what do I think of me? Everybody is thinking about themselves more than they will ever think of you. And I always say, you are the only person that is consistent in your life. You have you, your essence, your soul, God, whatever you would like to refer to that as, and your breath. Your breath is with you from when you are born to when you pass away. And that's all you got. From the start to the finish, you are the only person that is fully consistent in your life. And if you're a little kid and these adults are telling you how much money you're going to make as an accountant, so you're like, heck yeah, I want to be an accountant. How boring is that? I want to be an accountant when I grow up. No, you don't. Well, maybe you do. If you truly are fulfilled with your accounting job, props to you. But then you go through middle school, go through high school, you go to college to be an accountant. This is a random example, obviously. And you graduate college, you get your accounting job, and you realize that you're not fulfilled. You realize that this isn't your definition of success. And those adults that told you you're going to make so much money being this job, being an accountant, they're dead. By the time you're on your deathbed, replaying the reel of your life and wondering, why did I live for somebody else? somebody who's not even around anymore. When you learn to turn inward for your opinions, your definition of success, what you truly want to do in this world, you will look back on your life and be happy with it. I heard a quote the other day was like, leave this life with more oh wells than what ifs. Like, oh well, then what if I didn't walk that path and I walked my own path? A lot of the time, it's really difficult for us to break these patterns with these circles that we are surrounding ourselves with because we are more comfortable with where we're at than with where we could be. And getting comfortable with the uncomfortable is so important. I have what I call my laws of Madilynism. One of the laws, I can't exactly remember what number, is you are the only person consistent in your life. But law number 1 is to do it scared, to do it uncomfortable, do it when it's not perfect, and learn from experience. And this is actually a really good example of that, because obviously sitting here talking to my phone is uncomfortable. You as the listener cannot interact with me and bring your own input. It's just a constant monologue and a constant stream of thoughts. And also, doing it imperfect is a really good example of what I'm doing right now, because I'm recording this on my phone. I have no mic. I'm working on getting a mic. But the audio could suck. I'm not sure. But I'm doing it. I'm showing up. I'm sharing my ideas. And that is what is important. It doesn't all have to be perfect. If you realize that your current friend group or your current community is not someone that you would like to be like, is not your ideal definition of success, you're not going to have the perfect group of people to surround yourself with lined up to move on to next. You have to go through that lonely chapter of acting in alignment with your authentic self. And maybe these people truly do want the best for you and will accept you as you are, no matter what. There will be people in your life like that. But you have to show up for you. And if you show up as this manufactured person, how would anybody ever get to know the real you? If you walked around saying that your name was Billy when it was really Fred, everyone would know you as Billy. And you're like, why doesn't anybody call me by my real name? Well, it's because you are not showing up in the world as Fred. You're showing up as Billy. But if you start showing people who you really are at your core, what truly lights you on fire inside, and you're like, I am Fred, everybody's going to start calling you Fred, start knowing you as Fred. It's kind of an identity piece. It absolutely is an identity piece. But those people that knew you as Billy, it might take a little bit of time for them to learn you as Fred. And it will take time for you to learn you as Fred in this name example. People cannot possibly get to know the real you if you do not show up in the world as the real you. And when you start to do this, you will realize how many people are like, wow, you are such a breath of fresh air. Because you're being authentic, you're saying the thing that everybody's thinking but no one's really saying. You are just real and honest and raw and yourself, however that looks. And there's absolutely no shame in however that looks. Because you are the only person that is consistent in your life. At the end of the day, you are the only person that has to sit with your own thoughts. You can never change the past. All you can do is control how you show up in the present moment. I read a book, and I think I've mentioned this before on the podcast. It was called The Next Conversation by Jefferson Fisher. And the first few chapters, if I remember correctly, it's kind of been a minute, are about how you can't change your past conversations. The only conversation that matters is the next conversation. And being present in that. The only thing that matters is how you decide to show up in the world right now. Your past can't be changed. What you can control is the present moment. You can't predict the future, but you can control how you show up in the present moment. What you do. At the end of the day, you are the only person that has to sit with yourself. You're the only person that has to live with yourself. So why would you manufacture this person that you don't feel is true to you? Because you were brought into this world for a purpose. You are here for a reason. The person that you feel that you are deep inside of you is necessary to this world. And all of your past experiences have happened to bring you to the moment you are in right now. And when you start living in alignment with yourself and finding happiness from within, you will be so much happier when you lay down on your pillow at night and think, wow, I'm really happy with the way I showed up today. And when you have a strong identity in who you are and yourself, I talked about this a few episodes back, nobody can shake that. Nobody can shake that strong foundation. But if you don't have a strong foundation, it can be altered and swayed by other people's opinions, by other people's words, by the way they look at you, by the way that they react when you walk into a room. When you have a strong sense of identity and you know who you are, those external things won't affect you so much. When you truly live in alignment with who you are, you will be confident in that. Confidence is built, I don't know exactly what the quote is. It's like confidence isn't built by shouting affirmations in the mirror. It's built by undeniable data that you are who you say you are. I think I butchered that, but you can get the idea. When you act in alignment with who you say you are, you say, I want to show up kind. And then you are kind to people. You will be confident that you are a kind person because there is evidence behind you saying that you are a kind person. There's evidence that you are kind. I always think of the book Atomic Habits and James Clear talking about you are constantly casting votes for the version of yourself that you want to be or the version of yourself that you don't want to be. And every move you make, you are casting a vote. So always vote for the best version of yourself. Always vote for the person that you would like to be. If you don't want to go to the gym, but you say you are a person that shows up even when you don't want to go, you have a choice. You have a vote to cast. Are you going to cast a vote to the person that you say you are, or are you going to fall into short-term comfort? Are you going to be uncomfortable for 45 minutes to an hour while you go to the gym and then be glad you did it after? Or are you going to stay comfortable right now and then be uncomfortable later because you're not in shape and you didn't do the thing that you said you were going to do? You always have a choice, but it's your responsibility to take ownership of that choice and to turn inward and make sure that you are acting with who you want to be. Because if your goal is something that truly makes you happy, lights you up inside, it's going to be a lot easier to cast the vote for the person that you are striving to be than if you are not striving to be someone that you want to be. If it's somebody else's definition of success that has been cast upon you from whatever, if you are not showing up in the world for yourself and you're showing up in the world for other people, then it's going to be a lot harder to do the thing that's going to get you to that end goal. There never truly is an end goal. And that's another reason why it's so important to be content with where you are now and to find happiness from within. Because if you're always reaching to these external factors, external validation to be happy and to be fulfilled and to feel successful, you will never truly feel fulfilled. You have to fill your own cup first and able to fill other people's cups. You have to fill yours first. You have to take care of yourself because you are the only person that is consistent in your life. You're the only person that has to deal with your thoughts when you lay your head down on your pillow at night. And if you haven't been living in alignment with your authentic self, like so many people aren't, it's going to be hard at first. And it's probably going to start making people uncomfortable that aren't living in alignment with their authentic selves because they see you doing something that they don't feel like they can do. So it's going to make them uncomfortable, and you have to realize that that's okay. And you have to realize that it's okay to be lonely and with yourself because you are the only person that is consistent in your life. So you have to be unapologetically and annoyingly yourself. Be so yourself that you're like, damn, if I didn't like me, I'd be annoyed as fuck. But you like you because you are, how many times am I going to say this, living in alignment with your authentic self. And tapping back into that childlike mindset is so important. I remember when I was younger, everybody would have their birthday parties at the skating rink in the town over. And one of my friends and I decided that we didn't want to skate. We liked the music that was playing and we wanted to dance. So we took off our skates in the middle of the skating rink because, you skate around the edges. We took off our skates in the middle and we just started dancing. In that moment, I wasn't worried about what all of the other people around me were thinking about me. I was just having fun. I knew that I wanted to dance. And is that really affecting anybody else around me? No. It was not affecting a single other person. It invited my friend who also wanted to dance to come and dance with me and to do something that also made them happy. But it wasn't affecting anybody else around us. We were having fun. They were having fun. And I wasn't worried in that moment, oh my gosh, is this embarrassing? Should I put my skates back on and just start skating again? I wasn't worried about that because I was doing something that truly made me happy. And that's why it's so important to tap into that childlike mindset that didn't care what the other people around were thinking. And I just think about that. And I want to show up in the world like that every day. Because when you start being true to you and not let anybody else shake your strong foundation that you've built it gives other people an invitation to do the same. It allows a space for people to be true to themselves as well. I always say you change the world by changing one person, and that is yourself. If I am helping one person by being true to me, by dancing around the gym, I do that, I have achieved everything I want to, even if that one person is just myself. If nobody's listening to this podcast right now, I don't care, because I am helping myself by exploring these ideas vocally, by sitting down in front of my camera and acting in alignment with the person that I say I am. If I can change one person's life for the better, even if that person is just myself, then I am fulfilled. Then I am successful. And I know that I am continuously changing my own life, and I can only hope that that inspires other people to grow, to better themselves, to turn inward, and to truly find happiness and fulfillment from within. It invites a space that feels safe to do that. And I have the best friends that I could ask for right now, because I show up in the world as myself. They show up in the world as themselves. There's no filter of who we are. We don't say our name's Billy when our name's really Fred. We're just freaking Fred. And it's so refreshing. And when people see us, they say, this is so refreshing. When people interact with me, they feel safe to open up about how they truly feel and what thoughts are really going on inside their heads, because I'm not filtering that. I'm not pretending to be somebody that I'm not. I'm not being performative for anybody. I'm just me, and I'm who I want to be. And I rhymed. But it's such an inviting space, and we can truly only change the world by changing one person at a time. We can only make this world a better place by bettering ourselves. It all comes from within, and it starts with you. And it's your responsibility to do what makes you happy. Because if you're just happy, and nobody can take that away from you, by the way. If your happiness comes from deep within, nobody can take that away from you. And you inspire more people to do that, then as a collective, we all start becoming happier. And it makes the world a better place. It truly does. And when you build up your community from the ground up by acting in alignment with yourself, your community is going to be so aligned with you. Because you are aligned with you, and that's the person they see, and they say, I want to be around that. And if someone doesn't want to be around you, then that is their own path that has nothing to do with you. Because they're walking their own path. Maybe their authentic self has nothing to do, nothing in common with your authentic self. And you don't want that person around you. You want the people that are going to lift you up and light you up and encourage you and to be your support system, and that you want to lift up and light up and support them. And it builds such a strong community, even if you have to be lonely for a little bit. Because those few months, few years of loneliness, for in turn maybe having one really good friend that is so aligned with you and that gets you to your core. And even if they don't agree, they understand and they seek to understand. is better than having 50 people that have no idea who you are that think your name is Billy when your name's really Fred. So I think that's all I have to say on this topic. It can be hard to start living in alignment with your authentic self. It's hard for the people around you to accept that they don't want to be around you anymore if they aren't truly aligned with you. The people that really, really want the best for you will wish the best for you. And if they're meant to be in your life, they are going to be in your life. But I think that this is our biggest barrier to entry of being ourselves, is worrying about what the people around us are going to think. And it really doesn't matter what they think, because you are the only person that is consistent in your life. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of me exploring my thoughts. If it was all over the place, if I repeated myself a lot, I apologize because I did not have any notes. I just knew I needed to get this done and needed to fulfill this commitment that I made to myself and whoever my listeners are. I am so grateful for you. If you have any thoughts to add, anything to add to this conversation, please leave it in the comments on YouTube or Spotify. And if you completely disagreed with anything I said, also leave it in the comments on YouTube or Spotify. If you want to see more of my face, you can follow on Spotify or subscribe. Well, I actually can't figure out how to do the video episodes on Spotify yet. So if you want to hear more of my voice on Spotify, go ahead and follow me. I just finished the Higher Up Wellness Challenge on Instagram, and I didn't really post all week this week, but planning to get that back in action and back rolling up again here very soon. So you can also follow me on Instagram. It's just Madilyn Kolb. I hope you have the most beautiful day ever. I know I am going to. And once again, I am so grateful for you listening through this 40-minute monologue. And I love you. Bye.